I want to share a story about a close neighbor of mine, Ellen, who was always so careful with her money. She had planned diligently for retirement, saving each month and making sure her pension and Social Security would cover her living expenses. But at 72, when she needed a series of unexpected medical treatments, she realized her savings were vanishing at an alarming rate. It wasn't just the hospital bills. Little costs kept popping up that she'd never even considered. Watching her go through the shock and stress of draining her nest egg so quickly opened my eyes to a problem many people face after 70. Hidden healthcare costs that creep up on you before you know it. You might think, I have Medicare. I have a backup plan. I'm doing everything right. Yet so many seniors discover too late that their coverage and finances don't stretch nearly as far as they'd hoped. The stakes here are huge. We're talking about the difference between living comfortably and having to sacrifice the hobbies, connections, and freedoms that give your life meaning. When these hidden costs catch you off guard, the emotional toll can be just as heavy as the financial burden. Few things are more devastating than having to choose between a critical medication and a family gathering, or between necessary home care and the ability to visit your grandchildren out of state. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal 8 hidden healthcare costs that often blindside seniors. I promise that by understanding and preparing for these costs, you'll protect yourself from the kind of devastating financial hit Ellen experienced. Stick with me until the end, because the final insight is one most people never see coming, and it could be the key to preserving not just your savings, but your independence and dignity as well. Doctors and specialists are finally recognizing these overlooked pitfalls in our healthcare system, and this knowledge could very well keep you safe from unwanted surprises. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend doing so right now and turning on notifications. That way, you won't miss any future insights that can help you age with confidence. And if you find this information valuable, please let me know in the comments. Type 1 if it speaks to you, or 0 if you disagree or want more clarity. Your feedback helps me create better content that truly serves you. Now let's explore the first hidden healthcare cost many seniors never see coming. It might challenge everything you've assumed about how retirement works, so keep an open mind and let's get started. The first hidden healthcare cost that catches seniors off guard is the accumulation of specialized home modification expenses. We've all been told we can age in place with just a few minor tweaks. A grab bar in the shower here, a non-slip rug there. The misconception is that these small adjustments are inexpensive and that Medicare or supplemental insurance will cover them. In reality, many older adults face extensive remodeling bills when they realize they need walk-in bathtubs, wheelchair ramps, widened doorways for walkers, or even stair lifts. Each of these additions comes with a high price tag, and insurance rarely foots the entire bill. Consider Harold, 78, who had been living in a 2-story home with his wife for nearly 5 decades. Climbing the stairs became a challenge after he suffered a hip fracture and he needed a stair lift. The surprising truth is that the device and installation costs ran into the thousands, not to mention the new electrical work required to meet safety codes. Harold's family assumed their insurer would help, but it only covered a small percentage, citing it as non-essential equipment. The financial strain forced Harold to dip into savings he had planned to use for family vacations and small gifts for his grandkids. This kind of expense often goes overlooked because most people think, I'll just be careful and I won't fall, or I'll manage with what I have. But the reality is that as mobility decreases, your house can become your biggest obstacle. My best advice is to be proactive. If you're living in a home with multiple levels, or if your bathrooms weren't designed with senior mobility in mind, start budgeting now. Even a modest monthly sum set aside can help you handle a future home modification without derailing your entire financial plan. The emotional benefit of preparing is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you won't face the shock Harold did. Instead of living with fear that a simple act like bathing or taking the stairs could become impossible, you can feel secure knowing you've planned for these potential upgrades. It's not about giving up your home, it's about making it more supportive of your changing needs. Next, let's discuss a second hidden healthcare cost that can be just as devastating as home modifications: Advanced prescription medication expenses. There's a common assumption that once you have Medicare Part D or a supplemental plan, your prescription costs are practically covered. But many seniors learn the hard way about the donut hole or discover that certain specialty drugs have enormous co-pays. The bold statement here is that prescription costs after 70 can balloon faster than any other healthcare expense if you're on a fixed income. A friend of mine, Ruth, who is 75, believed she had done everything right. She was on a generic medication for high blood pressure, which was affordable. But when she developed a rare form of autoimmune disorder, she suddenly needed a specialty medication that cost hundreds of dollars per month out of pocket. She tried to switch to a cheaper alternative, only to find it wasn't as effective, putting her at risk for severe complications. The truth is that doctors don't always have a financially friendly option if your condition requires a specialized drug. And while insurance may cover a portion, the co-pays can stack up alarmingly quickly. What you can do is regularly review your medication list with your healthcare provider or pharmacist. Ask if there are new generics or more cost-effective therapies available. Look into patient assistance programs offered by pharmaceutical companies, which sometimes provide medications at reduced costs based on income. It's also worth exploring state-run or nonprofit agencies that help seniors pay for prescriptions. Don't assume your plan is the best fit forever. Prescription drug plans change annually, so compare rates and coverage each year during open enrollment. Preparing for prescription costs can literally save your life because it removes the agonizing dilemma of, should I skip a dose to make it last? Or should I choose my medication over my groceries this week? By being proactive and informed, you shield yourself from ever having to make those impossible choices. If you're still here and find these first 2 points eye-opening, please comment with the number 2 below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do it now. These next points are just as critical and you won't want to miss them, especially when we reach the last one that almost nobody sees coming. Moving on to the third hidden healthcare cost, in-home care and assistance fees. Many believe that Medicare automatically covers a home health aide or a personal care assistant if you're dealing with mobility issues or need help with daily tasks. The common misconception is that once you're officially in need, these services arrive with little to no cost to you. However, the reality is that extended hours or non-medical care, like cooking, bathing, dressing, or even light housekeeping, is often either partially covered or not covered at all. Take the story of Margaret, who's 81. She underwent surgery on her right knee and needed help around the house for a few weeks. Initially, Medicare offered a visiting nurse and physical therapy sessions, but only for a limited duration. She still needed help with laundry, meal prep, and housekeeping. Margaret ended up hiring a personal aide out of pocket at a rate of $25 an hour. Over the course of just 2 months, the bill added up to more than $3,000. This doesn't even account for the potential emotional toll of feeling like a burden on family or friends if you rely on them instead, which can strain relationships. A surprising insight is that planning for in-home care can sometimes be more cost-effective than rushing into an assisted living facility or nursing home. The trick is to investigate long-term care insurance early, because the older you get, the more expensive and sometimes unattainable such policies become. Additionally, some community organizations offer subsidized or volunteer-based help for seniors. Seek them out while you're still in good health and keep a list of resources handy in case you need them one day. By setting aside funds for potential in-home assistance, you're really buying yourself the freedom to recover at home in comfort, without burdening loved ones or jeopardizing your financial stability. It provides emotional relief, knowing you can maintain a sense of independence even when mobility or stamina wavers. The fourth hidden cost is hospital readmission fees and follow-up treatments. We've been led to believe that once you're discharged, the worst is over financially. After all, your main hospital stay is presumably covered by Medicare Part A. The misconception is that your post-discharge follow-ups, complications, or readmissions are entirely covered too. But if you need continuous therapy, extended rehabilitation in a skilled nursing facility, or if you face a complication that requires returning to the hospital, You might be shocked at the cumulative out-of-pocket costs. Co-pays for each follow-up visit, specialized therapies, transportation to and from these appointments, and additional prescription drugs can surge into thousands of dollars. Consider Charles, 76, who had a hip replacement. His initial hospital stay was well covered. However, complications arose and he needed to be readmitted within a month. He found himself paying multiple $200 co-pays for specialists, more for ambulance rides, and additional fees for an extended rehab program. By the time he was fully recovered, he'd spent double what he originally anticipated. The surprising insight here is that many of these costs aren't obvious at discharge. They creep up as new bills arrive weeks or even months later. One practical piece of advice is to insist on a clear discharge plan with a social worker or case manager. Ask about the potential for complications, typical readmission rates for your procedure, and what specialized equipment or therapy you might need. Also, double-check your Medigap or Medicare Advantage coverage details, because some plans include limited coverage for rehab facilities or reduce certain copays. Knowing your plan's specifics can help you budget for worst-case scenarios. Emotionally, planning for possible readmissions means you'll face less anxiety if a complication does come up. Instead of feeling blindsided by endless bills and appointments, you'll be mentally and financially prepared, which often leads to a smoother recovery. This preparation can literally speed up healing because you're not weighed down by stress, which is a known factor in recovery outcomes. If you've been watching so far and are finding real value in these insights, comment with the number 4 below so I know you're still with me. Don't forget, subscribing and turning on notifications is the best way to stay informed about these critical topics. I don't want you to miss out on the next part of this discussion because point 8 is truly a hidden landmine. Now let's look at the 5th hidden healthcare cost: dental, vision, and hearing services. Most people assume Medicare covers these areas in the same way it covers hospital stays or physician visits. In truth, standard Medicare does not generally cover routine dental checkups, eyeglasses, or hearing aids. These services often require separate insurance plans, such as Medicare Advantage that includes additional coverage, or you'll end up paying out of pocket. Martha, 77, discovered she needed a root canal that set her back nearly $2,000 because she hadn't invested in a supplemental dental plan. Later, she found out she had cataracts, and while Medicare covered the basic surgery, it didn't cover the specialized lens she wanted for better vision. She faced another unexpected bill. She also struggled with hearing loss, and her hearing aids cost over $3,000. The combined total of these procedures and devices was something she never budgeted for. A surprising insight is that ignoring your dental, vision, or hearing issues can lead to bigger health problems. Poor oral health can increase your risk of heart disease. Not seeing well can lead to falls, and untreated hearing loss has been linked to cognitive decline. So, while you might think you're saving money by skipping routine cleanings or hearing tests, you could end up paying far more in the long run. The best practical advice is to invest in specialized supplemental insurance plans if they make financial sense, or at least research discount programs for dental and vision services in your area. Some senior centers also partner with local hearing specialists to provide free or discounted screenings. By taking proactive steps, you improve not just your overall health, but your quality of life. No one wants to miss a grandchild's first words or a beautiful sunset simply because they didn't factor in the cost of proper care. Moving on to the 6th hidden cost: mental health services. Most seniors focus on physical health, joint pain, heart conditions, diabetes, but overlook the fact that depression, anxiety, or even the stress of losing friends and family can take a serious toll. The misconception is that therapy or counseling is fully covered, or that you don't really need it if you're staying positive. But the reality is, high co-pays for mental health specialists or restrictions on the number of sessions can discourage many from seeking the help they need. Additionally, transportation to a therapist's office or the cost of online therapy platforms can add up quickly when you're on a fixed income. Let me tell you about Joe, 80, who lost his wife of 52 years. He spiraled into a deep depression, barely eating and isolating himself at home. His Medicare plan offered some coverage for therapy sessions, but only a limited number, and each session still required a copay. After a few months, Joe exhausted his mental health coverage, and paying out of pocket wasn't sustainable. This made his situation worse because he felt abandoned by the very system he believed would take care of him. The surprising insight here is that, despite the stigma that sometimes surrounds therapy, staying mentally healthy can drastically improve physical health outcomes too. People who address their emotional well-being often manage chronic illnesses better. The practical advice is to explore telehealth options, local senior counseling services, or community support groups that sometimes offer free or low-cost sessions. If your mental health is a priority in your life, it might be worth looking into a Medicare Advantage plan that offers more robust mental health benefits. Or consider connecting with faith-based organizations that offer free counseling from licensed professionals. By investing in mental health, you prevent loneliness and isolation, which can be as harmful as any chronic disease. The emotional benefit is profound. You'll likely feel a renewed sense of purpose, find it easier to stick to medical regimens, and enjoy deeper connections with family and friends. That sense of emotional stability can be priceless at this stage in life. If you've stayed with me this far, comment with the number 6 below so I know you're watching. And if this video has opened your eyes, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. I have 2 more hidden healthcare costs to share that many people never even think about. Trust me, you don't want to be caught off guard by either of them. The 7th hidden cost is caretaker respite or temporary support for family caregivers. Many older adults rely on adult children or close relatives for help with daily tasks. The assumption is that it's free. After all, family helps family. But what happens when your caregiver needs a break, goes on vacation, or simply can't provide full-time care because of their own job or health challenges? That's when respite care or temporary care services step in, often at a steep cost that no one anticipated. Pauline, 73, moved in with her daughter after her surgery. Her daughter took unpaid leave from work to care for her, but as weeks turned into months, her daughter needed to go back to work to keep her job. Pauline had to hire a professional caregiver during the daytime, and this was far more expensive than she realized. Even with her daughter's help in the evenings, the cost for daytime care was draining Pauline's retirement fund. The counterintuitive truth here is that paying for planned respite care, or even sharing the cost among family members, can be cheaper and more sustainable than dealing with a full-blown crisis later, like a caregiver burnout or another hospitalization. Research local adult daycare centers, short-term assisted living stays, or even volunteer companion programs that can fill the gap when your primary caregiver is unavailable. Check if your long-term care insurance, if you have it, covers respite. If you don't, consider setting up a small emergency caregiver fund specifically for these situations. Emotionally, planning for respite care means everyone can maintain healthier relationships. Guilt, burnout, and resentment often build up when family members are stretched too thin. By budgeting for a professional caregiver when needed, you allow your loved ones to remain supporters and companions instead of feeling overworked or trapped. This fosters a more positive emotional environment for everyone. Finally, let's talk about the 8th hidden healthcare cost, one that most seniors don't even realize could impact them until it's too late. This involves medical equipment and specialized personal devices. We've been led to believe that if your doctor prescribes a device, like a CPAP machine for sleep apnea, a mobility scooter, or a custom brace, your insurance will automatically cover it in full. The hard truth is that many of these devices come with copays, rental fees, or coverage limitations based on your specific plan. And if your doctor recommends a particular brand or upgraded technology, you could be left paying out of pocket for the difference. Consider the case of Ron, 79, who needed a power scooter after a severe bout of pneumonia weakened his legs. Medicare approved a standard wheelchair, but Ron's doctor recommended a specific electric model better suited to his condition. The insurance only covered a portion equal to the basic wheelchair cost. Ron had to shell out over $2,000 to upgrade to the scooter he actually needed. He also encountered unexpected maintenance costs, like battery replacements, which weren't covered at all. This can leave you in a tough spot where you either settle for subpar equipment or go into debt trying to get what you truly need. A practical step is to thoroughly compare equipment suppliers, ask about refurbished models, or look into nonprofit organizations that provide or subsidize these devices. Some churches or community centers have lending closets for medical equipment, allowing you to borrow items for short periods. Additionally, keeping an ongoing medical equipment line in your budget, even if you're not currently using any, can help mitigate a sudden bill. Securing the right equipment not only improves your day-to-day comfort, but it also protects your health in the long run. Imagine the relief of breathing easily at night with a proper CPAP machine, or the freedom of getting around your home independently on a scooter. This sense of autonomy can dramatically lift your spirits and keep you active, preventing many secondary health issues. All 8 of these hidden costs, home modifications, prescription expenses, in-home care fees, hospital readmission costs, dental vision hearing services, mental health support, caretaker respite, and specialized medical equipment, can quickly eat away at your savings if you're unprepared. Reflect on Ellen's experience. She saved and planned, but never thought she'd face so many unexpected healthcare bills. The reality is that if you don't take steps to prepare for or mitigate these costs, you might be forced into choices you never wanted to make, like selling your home, relying on relatives more than you'd prefer, or skipping crucial medical care altogether. Think about where you see yourself in a year, 5 years, or 10 years. Which of these 8 hidden costs feels most likely to strike, given your unique health circumstances, family situation, and living environment? Visualize how you'll apply these strategies. Maybe you'll research supplemental plans for dental coverage, or perhaps you'll start a dedicated savings account for possible in-home modifications. The point is to do something now. The longer you wait, the fewer options you may have. Please share which hidden costs surprised you the most. Was it the price of in-home care? The complexity of prescription coverage? Or maybe the reality that mental health support can be so limited? Let me know in the comments. Your experiences and insights might help another senior facing a similar challenge. It's also a great way to form a community of people who look out for one another. If you found at least one piece of information here useful, consider hitting the like button, sharing this video with a friend, or subscribing. Your support helps me continue creating content that empowers seniors to take control of their lives. As we wrap up, I want you to remember that growing older does not have to mean giving up control over your finances or your health. By proactively addressing these 8 hidden costs, you set yourself up for a future where you can focus on what truly matters: family, friends, hobbies, and the joy of daily life. You hold the power to change your story. There's still time to protect yourself from the same unpleasant surprises that nearly overwhelmed Ellen. There's no magic wand to make all these expenses disappear, but with knowledge, planning, and some strategic choices, you can turn potential financial disasters into manageable bumps on the road. Thank you for watching. I look forward to reading your comments and hearing about the steps you'll take to safeguard your own future. Remember to like, subscribe, and share if you believe this video could help someone else. Together, we can bring these hidden costs out into the open so fewer seniors are caught off guard. Keep in mind that even a small action today can lead to a more secure and confident tomorrow. I appreciate your time, and I'm excited to see how you use this information to keep thriving well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.